Yeah, just going back in history, when I started, we didn't have the CRM yet.
Yeah.
We started on paper, and literally we got a lead list.
Fax machine.
Do you remember the lead list?
I remember getting leads through fax.
Oh, you got fax. Yeah, we had some stuff coming in through fax. I know when I first started.
The Auto Bytel, I think at that time, was doing like leads through fax or something. It might have been then.
That's right. But what they did was they printed out this sheet. It was just a list of phone numbers. Mm-hmm. And your job was to call all those phone numbers. The customers are using their AI to filter their spam.
Oh, 100%.
Right. And the carriers are using the AI to filter the text messaging. The carriers are using 10DLC to watch for the phone triggers, right?
Yep.
And so you can end up with phone numbers blocked because, 6 or 7 customers went into their iPhone and said, hey, block this number. I don't want to talk to them. This is one of the biggest problems in the industry. We don't have great onboarding. We don't have great, training techniques on a daily basis. And we're training to paper processes, not human processes. I think about the same thing with email, particularly service appointments. Service appointments, now you have the website available, you have chatbots available that can all book the appointment for you. That's a fantastic tool when you want zero friction.
Yep.
It hasn't changed except that you have to earn that trust with the customer prior to them ever coming to the store. So it's still walk out to the car, touch that customer and say, Mr. Customer, this vehicle is here for you right now. And then try to insert some it factor into that. And some guys and gals can do humor great. They can make it funny, right? They can make it fun.
Welcome to the Shift into Profit podcast, where leaders come to evolve, teams come to improve, and dealerships come to grow. Every episode delivers the insights you need to transform your people and maximize your performance. Let's shift your store into a new level of profit.
Hey, what's going on, Automotive Nation? It is Jason Harris here, and thank you for joining me on another episode of Shift into Profit, where I get to talk to, anybody and everybody I want to talk to when it comes to the operational changes and processes that we need to get back to being a profitable dealership. Thanks, guys, for taking the time to join us. I had an amazing guest with me. I'm so excited to get into these topics today. But hey, we can't do cool content like this without our sponsor. And here's a quick message from our sponsor.
For years, I've been saying that we have a process problem in our industry. We all talk about the road to the sale or the service write-up process or F&I menu process, but very few dealerships actually know how well their teams are following those steps. A process is only as good as how well we can measure it. Think about it. As an industry, we spend massive amounts of money and time getting customers to walk into our showroom or service drive and shake our hand. But the only thing we have to determine whether we did a good job is a checklist. Did we greet them? Did we qualify? Did we present? Did we touch desk? This is not measurement. This is guesswork. And the team at Xero agrees with me. That is why Xero created a way to record and analyze every in-person sales, service, and F&I conversation and report back to management exactly how each team member is performing against your process, not Xero process, your process. The system is fully customized to your store, your expectations, and your steps to the sale or service. Every conversation is mapped. Every step is measured. And that is only the beginning. Xero also provides real-time feedback and coaching notes that help your people get better with every customer they speak to. That is not just another cool tool. That is a way to moneyball your business. You're finally able to measure every at-bat so you can process your way to profitability. To learn more, visit Xero, Xiro.ai, and make sure to ask them for the Strategy with Jason discount. Now back to the show.
Hi, guys, I'm back. I have the one, the only, the oh so famous. He paid me to say it. No, I'm just kidding. I have Jake Hales with me. What's going on, Jake?
Good
How you
to see you,
doing?
man.
With Gee Automotive.
Gee Automotive.
I said that right. How
You
many people say Gee Automotive?
Almost everybody.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, myself included. When I was interviewing with the firm, I mispronounced it too. So we're kind of used to it. But The family goes by Guy, and so we do what they like.
Well, dude, I'm glad that you were able to take the time. We're here at Digital Dealer in Las Vegas. It's a beautiful day. It's not crazy hot. Digital Dealers, always a fun place to go to. And it's great that we got a chance to connect and jam and do this. So I'm looking forward to it. Here's what I like to do, Jake, is I love kicking off these podcasts with a little origin story. A, because I'm just fundamentally fascinated, right? Like, I don't believe just anybody just wakes up one day and goes, automotive, that's where I'll go spend majority of my career or all of my career in. So let's start there, Jake. How in the world did you get started in this crazy little world we call the automotive industry?
I needed money. Is this surprising or what? No. Well, and I had heard the stories. You could make good money in automotive. Don't expect a great experience. And in those days, it really wasn't. And I kind of got what I asked for. But I needed college money, man.
Sure.
So, you go into the car dealership and they hire you pretty much on the spot. See if you're going to turn or burn or stick in. I started selling cars.
What year was this, by the way?
99.
No, oh, man, we started the exact same year.
Yeah, I think I recall that.
Yeah, 99.
99.
It was like, did your dealership have a website yet?
No.
Okay, so mine were, when I got in, they were just talking about it.
Right.
I think it was about a year, maybe a year and a half later when they actually pulled the trigger on their first dealer.com site.
Right.
Yeah.
And that sounds about right. I think it took till '02 really before we started digging in.
Yeah. So, man, you've been at all. You've seen it. Like, I mean, there's just so much change. Isn't that crazy to say that we've been in this business like 26 years now?
It explains the gray hairs and other things, right?
For me, it's the balding. I used to tell everyone, I'm like, this one is my kids, and that spot over there is my dealership.
That's right. Yeah, unfortunately, it's been a long time. That's a long time.
So tell me, what was the moment? Like, tell me about your interview process. Like, what was it? Rolling up to the dealership and going, okay, yeah, I want to spend some time here.
I think they liked about me that I was just hungry.
Yeah.
Like, I needed the money. And I wasn't shy about it.
You just straight up.
No, I was just like, look, I need a gig. I need it fast. I need to do something. I hear you guys can make a lot of money, and I'd like to try it.
And what was the brand? Was it?
This was Chrysler.
Chrysler.
Yeah,
man.
They were a Chrysler Mitsubishi store.
Oh, no, that's a combo, man.
Oh, boy.
That's a combo.
Oh, boy. It was trial by fire.
But that was a fun time, though. There were some cool cars. You see, you would have had the Crossfire.
We had the Crossfire.
Remember the Crossfire?
Yeah, not when I started, but we got there. Yeah.
Yeah, it would have on the Mitsu side. You would have had the Clips.
That's right, and that was what us young bucks liked. We liked to sell.
That was a sexy car. That was fun.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
and we sold a lot of those.
That's cool, man. All right, dude. I want to get into some topics. We have some great ones that we're going to go over today. First one we want to do is talk about lead response, which, by the way, I love the fact you picked that one because it's like one of my favorite topics right now.
Oh, love it.
Well, when you started in the business, the same time I started in the business, like it was buy or die. And I think like people hear us say that now and they're like, I'm like, no, like I had a manager. I don't know if he's still with us, but all right, his name was Greg. If you're out there, you were a dick. Just a total prick of a person. At least I thought he was at the time. Now, since I got a little older, maybe not so much.
Right.
And it was like literally, if it was either that follow up until that customer bought a car, or I literally came in with a cutout of their obituary. And showed them that these guys had passed away.
Yeah.
And they were like gone, done, never going to happen.
Right.
That is totally been lost, I think, over the years, but I'd love to get your thoughts.
Yeah, so just going back in history, when I started, we didn't have the CRM yet.
Yeah.
We started on paper, and literally we got a lead list.
Fax machine.
Do you remember the lead list?
I remember getting leads through fax.
Oh, you got through fax. Yeah, we had some stuff coming in through fax. I know when I first started.
Was it Auto Bytel, I think, at that time, was doing like leads through fax or something?
Yeah,
it might have been then.
That's right. But what they did was they printed out this sheet. It was just a list of phone numbers. Mm-hmm. And your job was to call all those phone numbers. And if you didn't get appointments off those phone numbers, you didn't get a list the next day.
At least you got a list. I think I got like a white pages. And it was like, start at B and then work your way up. I don't know why I didn't start with A. I guess somebody else got A. I guess somebody else. But no, man, I remember I had to do cold calls first, like straight up. Like these just like literally in the white
Phone
pages,
book. Oh,
like
my
just
goodness.
go phone book, just literally going through it. And then I got the list. So you got the list first. Okay, well, that's nice.
Yeah.
All right, so you started with the list, then what?
Started with the list, and then we started to get more emails coming in, right?
Yeah.
We built a website.
When people check their emails, wasn't it exciting?
Yeah, back then, in those days, it was novel, right? Yeah, people, and they weren't completely filled with spam yet. It
Yep.
wouldn't be long before they were, but it got there. But so, the lead process today is getting pretty cloudy, and there's been industry speakers before that talk about that marketers eventually ruin every platform.
Oh yeah, we totally do.
Oh yeah,
100%.
too much spam.
Yep.
Too much stuff.
Absolutely.
Too much noise.
Clutter the crap out of it. Like just yep.
You teach your customers how to ignore you.
Yeah.
But now we have this extra layer on there where it's not just us using AI to contact customers. The customers are using their AI to filter their spam.
Oh, 100%.
Right. And the carriers are using the AI to filter the text messaging. The carriers are using 10DLC to watch for the phone triggers, right?
Yep.
And so you can end up with phone numbers blocked because, 6 or 7 customers went into their iPhone and said, hey, block this number. I don't want to talk to them
Yeah,
again.
it's super easy. I've seen that happen a bunch of times.
Yeah. And so you end up becoming potential spam on your caller ID, and eventually you just get full on blocked.
Yeah.
And so there are a lot of headwinds to effectively contacting your customer. And I think one of the big changes between buy or die, and I grew up in that same era, you call these people and tell you to, go somewhere.
Yeah.
Right? You called them and tell you, but if you do that today, you're going to get blocked.
100%.
Straight up blocked. If you over email, you teach your customer to ignore you. If you over text, you also get blocked, and that can affect both the text messaging and the phone number. So now we're in an environment where buy or die doesn't make sense. You have to be more targeted. You have to provide value, because if you're not earning engagement,
Well, you actually have to have a conversation. Holy crap, wait a second. We actually have to be a human? Just
Right.
for a moment. Just for a moment. We actually, isn't that funny? I almost find some of these newer solutions sound more human than I actually think some of the staff members themselves. Anyways, that's another rabbit hole. I'll go down that later.
Yeah.
But I'm actually totally okay with this. I know some people will be like, I'm heartbroken over this. I'm like, no. As a marketer, I'm actually totally okay with this.
Absolutely.
Because what this means now is that, I don't get my manager come up to me and go, hey, I need you to blast these people. Like, I'm sorry. Who the hell likes a good blast? Anybody out there for a good blast? Just that whole concept of just blasting a singular message to all of these people, and just this wild notion that that's somehow going to land with them and it's going to connect and they're going to want to engage with it is ridiculous. I think the cool thing now is that with these spam filters, with these, things that you can make a mistake on and get blocked on from a texting perspective, is that you now actually have to be more human in your efforts, and you can't blast out 2,000 people a generic message that doesn't ultimately connect to them. Like, you actually have to know them a little bit, talk to them a little bit. This is like, it's funny because I actually go back to when we first started selling, and I'm sure you probably got the same training, was like, find a common ground as quick as humanly possible, right?
Absolutely.
It could have been sports. A lot of the time it was sports.
Oh, totally.
It could have been, it definitely always try to stay away from politics, but it was something that you try to just connect with.
It's observation to question.
Yes.
Right.
There we go.
And you do this today, so we're finding that we got to do a lot of training with young people and just interpersonal communication. And so you got to go back to the basics, and just to introduce to anybody, a stranger, right? And I talk to strangers all the time. I'm good at it. I practice this stuff because I need to teach it too. And so I go out and I talk to strangers, and it's just like, hey, I like your purse. Your shoes are awesome. Hey, what'd you think about Calgary last night? What'd you think about that?
Sure.
They fell apart. Knights came back and destroyed them. Because I see, the logo on their shirt, right?
Yeah.
And so, you're doing that observation to get a relational moment and start a conversation. And people can't help themselves. They want to respond to,
Of course,
some kind of validation on their being.
Yeah,
But it's
that's why they wear what they wear. That's why they do the hair their way. That's why they wear the watch that they're wearing, the shoe. To your point, like there's tons of, and it seems like we kind of like just forgot training on this aspect of it, right? We got so transactional in our industry that it was like, nah, you don't really need to create any middle ground. You don't really need to like have any type of like general trust connection or anything. Just go straight to the transaction. Sorry, anyways, I digress.
That's assuming there's training going on in the first place. This is one of the biggest problems in the industry. Is we don't have great onboarding. We don't have great training techniques on a daily basis, and we're training to paper processes, not human processes.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that. Let's talk a little bit about the difference there, because I dig that.
Yeah. So I think you hit it on the head, and what we train at GE is we talk about the difference between transactional communication and emotional communication, because we still believe that the car purchase is an emotional purchase.
Oh, 100%.
Because it's not a very smart financial decision for most consumers.
Unless you're buying a Toyota Tacoma right now. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, there's spaces where
there's a couple of them. But no, I get what you're saying. Yeah, 100%.
But for the most part, you're buying the car not to make yourself money.
No.
You're buying the car for some perceived need you have, some perceived emotion you have. You want to be comfortable on your commute to work. You need to haul some stuff in the back of your truck, but you want to have a nice ride while you're doing it. You want to look good. You want to look tough. Whatever your emotional attachment is to the vehicle, it's still an emotional purchase.
Yeah, it's no different than clothing, right? It's like, people, you don't just go out and buy a T-shirt.
No.
There's some brand or some material associated with it, and you're 100% right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still an emotional decision. And most just retail purchases are in that category, to your point. So, but why are we trying to strip all of that out of our sales process?
And turn it into like a McDonald's dollar menu order?
Yeah, that's right. Well, and even McDonald's finds himself in the same place, and Starbucks, the changes they're making at Starbucks, they're doing the same thing. It's a good news, bad news situation. The good news is the crappy transactional communications that are out there can be done by AI now, and frankly, AI does it better.
Yeah, just a simple transaction. I just need it quick. Because I love it. Actually, now I go back to the app. I'm like, would you like to order the same thing you ordered last time? Hell, I don't even have to push the buttons. Yes.
Right. So that's a better consumer experience. It creates less friction. I think about the same thing with email, particularly service appointments. Service appointments, now you have the website available. You have chatbots available that can all book the appointment for you. That's a fantastic tool when you want zero friction.
Yep.
But the emotional aspect still has to be done by humans.
Yes.
Because humans spot the AI, and they get better at it the more we use it. And so we're training the process to do something human. Let the robots do that thing. Don't waste your time doing templates. Don't waste your time asking stupid questions through text. Send value to the customer and make an emotional value. And in my opinion, about the only way to do that right now is through video.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because your video, you're able to, you only get so much from the actual text of the words themselves, right? There's a lot that goes in the eye contact, the body language, the tonality, all right, that you just don't get anywhere else. If you really want to show someone that you're sincere in wanting to serve their needs, all right, yeah, it'll come in black and white text, but still, it does not hit home the way that, like, if I can actually hear somebody and I can see their eyes, and I can see their body language, it's telling me, like, no, like, this is legitimately an individual that wants to help. Sorry. Anyways, go ahead.
No, you're 100% right. I mean, you're taking words right out of my mouth. That's exactly it. And now that you don't have to do all these pipsqueak tasks that are just time eaters, they're not healthy for anybody. They're gone. They're taken over by AI. You have time as a salesperson to go out to touch a car.
Yeah.
And if you remember when we got in the business, we were taking mostly showroom ups, right? Unless it wasn't our uptime, then we're making phone calls. But we're taking mostly showroom ups, and it's all about that. the first thing you did, what did the manager tell you to do? Go out and touch that car with the customer. Remember that?
Yes. Did they not touch it?
Oh
my gosh. Did you not test drive it? I'm not giving you numbers. Get back out there.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. It hasn't changed except that you have to earn that trust with the customer prior to them ever coming to the store. So it's still walk out to the car, touch that customer and say, Mr. Customer, this vehicle is here for you right now. And then try to insert some it factor into that. And some guys and gals can do humor great. They can make it funny, right? They can make it fun. I've seen people dance in front of cars.
Oh, sure.
Right? You know, I've seen people bring in props, silly props, big furry coats and weird hats and something to make it fun and unique and garner attention. And all that's building emotion, right?
Yep.
I'm and am today an energy guy. I try to bring intensity and passion and expertise to my video.
Yep.
And try to draw people that way so people know, hey, he knows what he's talking about. He's really excited about it. If I ask him a question, he's going to answer it.
Yeah, 100%.
Right?
You know, I was very early on video. So my first video was in 2008
Very early.
on a Kodak flip cam. Do you remember those?
I do. Yeah.
So, you know, they were
one.
I think I still have mine. It was the ZI3 or something. So, you know, it was about this big,
Yeah.
right? It had a 1 megapixel camera. That was a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's right.
And it was the first camera that had some software that you could link to YouTube.
Right.
Right. And it was like, that was the big, in fact, actually had like a big YouTube logo, like right on the camera itself. Right.
Yeah.
And I would set that up on a tripod and I would kind of jump into the screen. I remember this one time I actually slipped and fell.
Yeah.
Right. But I bounced back up like nothing happened. I went on. And in my head, I was going to like somehow like edit that later. Right.
Yeah.
I ended up sending that version to the customer. That he thought it was funny and actually ended up reposting it. And this is early YouTube. I think I got like 100,000 views
Wow.
of me sliding into the screen, falling almost underneath this car, and then jumping back out. He did buy the car. By the way, he did buy the car.
Oh, that's good.
But I mean, back then, dude, it was crazy. Like there wasn't much for editing. So like if you didn't get it the first take, you just went ahead and did it again. Because just I wasn't an editor. I didn't know anything about it. And then the software was horrible. And then I had to manually upload that to YouTube.
Yep.
Wait for that to process. And then I had to take the link and send it over. Like, I look at the technology today, I'm like, people don't even have an excuse. Like, do you know how long it would take me almost 30 minutes just to send out a video in 2008?
Yeah, and then co-video came around at some time and kind of helped down BombBomb.
I remember BombBomb first. Yeah.
Yeah, and there were salespeople, really good salespeople doing it years and years ago, to your point.
Yeah.
The difference between then and now is then people were still answering their phone and they were still answering their email.
Yes.
I think as we move on, that is less and less a first stop for us.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we can't count on those means, for people to answer the phone. We can't count on.
I think I saw a stat recently. I think that may have been from Volley or may have been from one of the other big phone companies, but it was like, I think it's almost like 1 in 6 now actually answer the calls, like actually answer the phone.
Yeah.
Or 1 in 7 or something crazy like that. I was
Yeah.
like going, geez almighty, like people are just not answering. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Well, and I get it. I'm a busy person too. I'm running around everybody, and I actually really appreciate it when somebody says, "Hey, I need you to call me via text." Right?
Isn't that funny how often we'll get a text and like, hey, can I call you?
Yeah. Well, that's what I do with our general managers within our group. I say, "Hey, do you have 5 minutes?"
Yeah.
And they know that a call's coming when I do that,
Yeah.
right? So I'm asking for permission to get on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I think phone is, by the way, still the most effective way to get an appointment.
100%. Absolutely.
That has not changed, but it's a really hard first stop. It's better to ask for permission to get on the phone now.
Yeah.
Which means you have to send some sort of value to be your baseline, right? And our company, it's usually the video. For some of our stores, it's a proposal. We send a proposal first.
Sure.
And that's our baseline. But for most of our stores, you don't necessarily want to jump right into the pricing conversation right away with the customer. It's get that emotional communication first through video.
I think it's a storytelling aspect, right? And
Yes.
it's if everybody out there watching and listening, look, a process is only as good as how well you can execute it. And, so like if you don't think you can execute what me and Jake are talking about, well, tough, I guess. I mean, I don't know. There's no easy button. That's what I'm telling you guys. There's no magic wand. There's no easy button here. You actually just have to put the process and dedicate the time and the effort into doing it. The thing I've always loved about video, and I'm a storyteller, and I've always and at the end of the day, consumers, we're all consumers. We buy into the story of the product or service before we actually buy the product or service.
Absolutely.
And video gives you that ability to tell the story. I usually find there's 3 stories in a dealership. There's the story of the dealership, which I still think is valid, but may not necessarily be the most important thing, but I still think it's a valid story to tell. There's the story of the actual vehicle itself, right? And people buy into that. Hence the reason why Jeep Wrangler still exists. And that's the worst car in the world. And yet it is still sold by the millions, but God, it's got a good story, right? I mean,
absolutely.
And then there's the story of me, right? The salesperson. And, because that Jeep Wrangler might exist at other dealerships, and it will.
Yeah.
All right. The story of the dealership might be similar to some of the other dealership stories out there. All right. But the one big fundamental story that is not going to exist at any other location is the story of the me and how I commit. Right. And you can get that out in a video.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, you'd have to wait for them to come in to articulate that.
Absolutely. And the best salespeople are the ones that get the story out of the customer when the customer isn't engaging with them.
Good point.
So yeah, but you can start with a story, but it's displaying your ability to connect with the customer and displaying either professionalism, humor, sometimes weirdness.
Embrace it.
Right. And we tell our salespeople, you be you, but be more you than you.
I like that. That's actually really good.
Yeah. But the idea being, find something about yourself that you can put some more passion into, so you can drive that smile on camera, and that's how you're going to win customers over and win that right to get them on the phone, win that right to ask for that appointment.
That's proper lead response. Now I want to get a little bit into the kind of the leadership side of this, right?
Okay.
Because it's funny. I hate to say this, but I've visited a lot of dealerships recently, and I've seen some salespeople being more leaders for themselves than the actual leaders who are supposed to be leading them.
Yes.
They have more initiative. Anyways, I digress. Let's get into the leadership side, because, and don't get me wrong, I know there's some amazing operators out there. You're probably one of them because you're watching and listening to this.
Good
right?
point. Yeah.
But let's just say, what is the leadership's responsibility in this?
Yeah, well, you have to drive behavior. You have to drive behavior. The number one thing, before we get into the real process aspects of this, the number one thing is to be a successful salesperson. You know this, having been there. I know this, having been there. Is that if you're having a bad day, are you selling any cars? No. It's an attitude thing. It's
100%.
a head game. And what happens with good salespeople is they go into slumps.
Always.
But it's the head. It's something in the head. It has nothing to do with the customers. It has nothing to do with the leads. As much as people, we're not getting enough leads. It's nothing to do that. It's all about attitude. All about attitude. So the number one mission of a sales manager has to be the positive energy moving forward for the store. Has to be that. And if you're not starting there, then you're starting somewhere else that isn't going to grow your business.
Yep.
And you tell me if I'm wrong. You've been in way more stores than I have here in the last few months. But it seems to me that most sales managers are focused on a deal at their desk staring at paperwork, and less so focused on the attitudes and energy of the store.
100%. There's a monster focus on the result and not the activities.
Right.
And which is kind of funny, because it's a little bit of like a leadership 101, kind of, mentality. It's like, if I focus on the activities, the results will clearly be there. Right. But we just focus so much on the results that at the sacrifice of the activities.
Absolutely.
And I don't know. I don't know if it was obviously, I know it comes down to just a lack of training. Like, it really does, right?
Yes.
If you think about most managers that have got into the position that they were in, they were a good salesperson.
Yep, that's
that
true.
doesn't necessarily make them a good leader.
No.
And
Well, it
we
doesn't give them the skill sets
that's
to
right.
be a manager in a very complicated environment.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I will tell you right now, Jake, I was exactly that person. Okay. I had one of my staff members one year for Christmas, when I was a manager, crochet me a pillow for Christmas. That's what she did. I was like, that's fine. But it said, shut up and get back to work. Everybody thought this was funny. I did. I thought it was funny. Cute too. Until about a few weeks later, after it was sitting on my desk, and I realized going, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Like, this is actually, I say this so often that it's comical to crochet it into a pillow.
Wow.
That, you know what, maybe, but then I also think about, I just did what I saw, right? I saw the manager before me just do that.
Right.
Shut up, get back to work. What are you doing? Get out of there. Just, that's, so I was definitely one of those individuals, but I had to learn, and eventually I did, and I changed everything.
Well, you don't know there's a better way until you've seen a better way.
100%.
So you're either fortunate enough to have a sales manager that was just awesome energy guy that brought up the store every day, or you didn't. And think about store cultures where you never had that kind of person in that role. And it's one of the best things, having left retail for a time. I went into the vendor space for a long time, went into the OEM space for a while. And that experience, and similar to experiences that you have, when you see hundreds of stores, you start to see just superpowers out there.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're like, oh, I get it now. And that's what I need to pull in. But you think about the typical car person experience, they're not getting that diversity in leadership.
No.
And so you have to find ways to expose managers to that excellence in leadership.
We have to commit, invest. We have to invest into our people. And I don't know if it just the last 5 years, it's just maybe because we just lean so much into just the natural transaction of things happening because of inventory issues and chip shortages and all this stuff, that it was just like, hey, if we had it, we had it. So we became very transactional, right? Because it's like, well, if it's out there, it's out there. If it's not, it's not. There was very minimal actual selling going on, right? And it seems like we're kind of coming out of that funk a little bit, it's like anything in anything. How old stuff eventually comes new stuff. Bell bottoms will come back around at some point in time again. Just like like everything old eventually ends up coming new again. I think we're heading in that direction where people are like, okay, I actually need to invest into my leaders so that my leaders can invest into their staff.
Yes.
But we're still really far behind right now.
Yeah, I agree, and I don't think there was two phases of this. There was the Great Recession phase in 2008, where stores went down to skeleton crews.
I remember,
right?
I was there.
Yeah, I was too, and I had clients at the time and lost clients to out of business. But the stores that survived that era went down to really small staffs. And never really recovered from that. Now, a lot of responsibilities getting stacked onto the sales manager, which for a lot of stores never went away. Maybe it started to improve as we got into the late 10s. And then COVID set us back again.
Yeah,
it set us way back again. I had one general manager tell me today he thought it set us back another 10 years. And where we could have been had that disruption not hit us as hard as it did.
Sure.
And it was, both a positive and negative disruption. But the positive part is we were making a lot of money over that period. The negative is the bad habits that we developed over that period.
Yeah, the bad habits, and obviously we brought in a whole new workforce as well. Totally. I heard a stat recently from a good friend of mine, like the average manager, not sales associate or service advisor, the average manager has less than 5 years of experience in the business.
I buy that.
Yeah.
I buy that. With manager turn that we've seen, sure.
Yeah.
And so, we have to get back to investing in our leaders, teaching them how to lead, how to coach. It's a lot of what I do is I go one-to-one to managers and I remind them, here's how you coach. And coaching is so much different than even training or what people think of as training.
Yes.
And I'd always like to clearly define
To
it.
do
It's really
significantly
important.
mix this up. So go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever tried to tell somebody to do something, right? How often do they do it afterwards?
Not often.
Now, they do it once the first
Yeah,
time.
of course, when I'm standing there.
Your expectation is that they're going to do it day after day after day after
Exactly.
that. But they never do.
No.
So telling does not work. Orders do not work. Orders do not, unless they're trained as soldiers, and we're lucky enough to hire soldiers occasionally.
Yeah.
But unless you're trained as a soldier, you do not take an order.
Yep.
And we're not built for that. That's why there's training to learn how to take orders. So why are you giving orders?
That's a good point.
It don't work. So what does work? Well, let me ask you a question. Could you train Patrick Mahomes?
No.
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 Neither could I.
Yeah.
The key is that neither can Andy Reid,
That's a good point.
because Patrick Mahomes is some kind of physical
Superhuman.
phenomenon, right?
Yeah.
There's something crazy going on there. He
Yeah.
doesn't throw technically correct,
Yeah.
and yet he completes all these passes. So you can't train him. You can coach him. And the difference is this: is I'm not going to go out and say, here's how you throw the ball, right? Do it right next time. No, that doesn't. I say, okay, Patrick, how come that throw was 3 yards short? What about your physicality
Sure.
made that 3 yards short? By the way, where was the defensive end on that throw? Did you see him? Did you know where he was? You see the questions I'm starting
Oh,
to
yeah.
ask you?
No,
here?
absolutely.
Where was your foot placement when you made that throw?
Yeah, you're getting into the see. For me, I go towards golf.
Oh, okay.
You know, so like the analogy for me is the caddy. A lot of people think the caddy is just someone that like walks around and holds a bag. No, we're even close to that. Like if you actually, it's fun now because now when you watch actually golf tournaments, you can actually hear the conversations. They now have the microphones. They'll let you hear the conversation of the caddy. And no, that caddy is just doing nothing but coaching
Right.
the entire time. You know, and even some of the most elite players in the space, you know, you'll still occasionally hear a caddy go, "No, I think you need your 9." You know what I mean?
Right,
And like
right.
he's putting the 7 back and he's pulling his 9 out. You know, like
Yeah, that's perfect. That's exactly what I mean. It's the feedback loop.
Yeah, it's the
that's
feedback loop.
important there. But you're asking questions, and when it comes to process, my salespeople, my sales managers have to be able to tell me the process. It does no good for me to tell them the process. They won't
a good point.
retain it.
And here's a fun thing, because we were talking a little bit about this. I am still dumbfounded. You would be surprised, Jake, how many dealerships I've walked into, all right, they still don't have a documented process. It's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Because really there's just no excuse these days. I mean, you could chicken scratch something on a napkin and upload that to ChatGPT, and it will polish you an entire beautiful, process of what that's
will.
going to be. You know, it's just there's no excuse. Right? So you don't have to spend nights and nights having to. No, you can have this thing done. But the process is only as good as how well we execute it, right? And then the execution of that process is only as good as how well we can measure it. And this is where I'm excited about where technology is starting to intersect with these, because for years, you've had, to your point, marketing vendors galore. Then you had digital retailers. Before then you had website providers, right? Yeah. And these were all helpful tools to sell. But now I feel like we're getting into an era of technology, and I'm calling it kind of like people tech.
Yes.
Where it's like, I want to make them better, or to your point, you mentioned it earlier, give them time back so that they can do more, profitable things with their time. I'd love to, because I know you got some thoughts on this, and I do too.
Yes.
I'd love to go down this rabbit hole with you, if that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And so let's think about overwhelmed people. Let's just stop for a second and just recognize for a second that sales managers have too many tasks.
I totally agree.
They have way too much responsibility in the store, and they can't even even fathom it. You know, so one of the first exercises you got to do with a sales manager is just say, what's your task list? What is it? Write it down. Get it down. What is everything that you're responsible for? And that's where the measurement starts coming in. Because if you don't have that written somewhere where you understand how much you have to do, you have no way to control it.
None.
You have to have that framework in place. But then you can start going through those tasks. And let's assume that every task that's there is actually important to the profitability of the store. Okay, so we're going to make that assumption first.
Yep.
Now, I think there's arguments to say that there are tasks in there that we can shoot and get rid of altogether.
Great.
But let's just assume that all of those tasks are important. What are the ways we can control those?
It goes a little bit back to the training, right? We can only control what we trained on.
Yeah.
And then also we can only control what we're measuring, because otherwise then I'm just changing for the sake of changing or modifying for the sake of modifying, or my gut says something, so therefore we're going to get rid of this and change that.
Yeah. That's kind of where people go most of the time. But there's certain leadership words we don't use enough. If I don't have time to do this task, I need to ask a question. Who does?
Sure.
So, look, if it's a task I can give to AI, and there's a lot of them out there you can give to AI,
tons.
you're going to start reducing your task flow because the AI can take care of those tasks a lot faster than you can. So you might not get the tasks, crossed out, but you might automate it to such a point where it's not a time burden on you. What's the next way? Well, if I don't have time to do it, I can hand it off to personnel. We call this delegation. Now, delegation seems to have a dark word on it because it sounds like a negative sometimes.
Sure. There's an art form to it.
There is an art form to it. If you think of delegation as empowerment, as healthy for the whoever you're handing this task off to, that is more powerful.
For sure.
And if you treat it as empowerment, it's things. So you find those people on your staff that want to grow and they want to learn new things, and you say, hey, are you up for taking on a new task?
Exactly.
Now the challenge there is you have people that aren't.
Yeah, that's true.
And this is where you can get real clever and you can start building substance out of that. And you need to ask yourself, how much is this task worth? And then can you build a bonus plan based on what you understand the return on that investment is and build it into their pay plan? And then guess what? If it's in their pay plan, what do you think happens?
It becomes a consistent activity.
That's right. It becomes part of their job, and they feel like it's part of their job description because there's earnings associated.
Of course.
With it. But I don't hear a lot of that at the sales desk.
No.
They want to do it all themselves, and they don't ever just come to their mind, well, maybe I have some talent here that wants to grow a little bit
Sure.
and wants some more responsibility. Of course, you don't know that unless you're doing your one-on-ones with it.
I know. It's rare to see that anymore.
Yeah, it's sad. And the one-on-one is a key feature of the sales manager position. And by the way, the one-on-one isn't necessarily always about coaching. It's more important for me to understand the humanity of my personnel and their goals and their needs and what's dragging them down than it is for me to coach them.
For sure.
On a one-on-one. It's much more important. I know how their kids are doing, how their family's doing, how the dog's doing. Are they sick? What is impeding their attitude?
Yeah, well, I call it the why. So what's their why, right?
Yeah.
And then help them refocus back to it. And I find some great operators, I'm sure you're out there watching, listening right now, will do this sometimes knowingly or unknowingly. They do this very well, is that they're able to map back their staff's why to then the company's why and see how they're actually in line with each other. If it's unfortunate it doesn't happen too often anymore, because it was definitely something that I got taught when I started. I remember I had this young kid work for me for a summer, and I just said, so why do you want this job? And he just looked me straight in the face and gave me a second. It's like, well, I want to buy a jet ski. I'm like, that's about as a 20-year-old response to an incident I could ever possibly get,
no
right?
kidding. That's
Like,
so
I live
funny.
at home with mom and dad, and I want a jet ski. Okay, that sounds pretty awesome, right? I
Yeah,
said,
okay.
how much is a jet ski? He's like, well, the one I want, I was like, I don't know, it's like 10 grand or something like that, right?
yeah,
Oh,
sure.
that's a fancy one. Okay. So then mapping back my financial objectives inside the dealership to support his why, I never once had to ask him, how much money he made on that deal. I would just straight up ask him, how much closer are you getting to that jet ski, right? Because he knew that, he followed the process and he did the deal correctly, that he would gross just more on each of these and he'd just be that much closer to. I was a little worried because as we got closer to the jet ski, I was like, what the hell is this kid going to want next?
Exactly.
Probably going to need a truck to probably pull that thing.
Hey, goals, man. Step up those
But
goals.
to your point, that's exactly what you're saying. I called it the why, and that's we don't see that happening enough, and it insanely changes our approach.
Right. So from the sales manager perspective, you really have to find ways to offload some of the tasks that they have. And it's going to either be through delegation, it's going to be through AI investment, or hopefully elimination. So it's got to be.
I like those three
one of
things.
one of those.
And
three
that's
things.
really key. And I think for everybody out there watching, listening, I think that's a great. I know we're getting towards the tail end,
Yeah.
but I think those three things are so important, and we've kind of covered them in kind of multiple different ways. But to really kind of become that truly successful leader, the art of delegation,
Yes.
right? Give me the other ones real quick again.
Hand off to
Yes,
AI.
hand off to AI. Because if I can find, what's funny? I heard a stat recently. Still less than 10% of dealers out there are utilizing AI in the dealership. I thought it would have been higher, but
Yeah, it
I guess
seems
that
like
does
it.
I guess that makes sense. There's still a lot out there that just haven't adopted, that because it's such a time-saving aspect. Anyways, I digress.
You and I are on the same page. It's saved me so much time. It's ridiculous.
And then the third one,
third one is elimination.
yes, elimination.
But let's talk a minute about elimination, because elimination, you have to know what to eliminate.
Sure.
And so just like you're going into your vendors and you're saying, are you giving me an ROI or not? You have to go into your tasks and see if the tasks has an ROI.
Yeah.
And guess what? If you can put a number on that, it can't go away,
Sure.
which means you have to do one of the other two things to it.
That's right.
Either hire somebody to do it, delegate it to somebody else that's already on your team, or send it off to AI. That's what you're left with. But you have to write down what those things are first. You have to know it exists as a task, and you have to know its value.
Sure.
But how many people have done a value assessment on their own tasks?
Probably not a lot. And that's why I love that those kind of three pillars right there is incredibly key. Jake, I know we're getting towards the end of our time. I feel like we could easily do this for another half an hour or so. But hey, before I let you go, though, for everybody out there watching and listening right now who would maybe love to connect with you and just kind of follow along with your journey, what's the best way to do so?
Please find me on LinkedIn. I actually come up pretty quick. It's nice. I'm Jake Hales on LinkedIn. Just follow me, connect with me, send me a message. I will talk with you. One of my favorite things and why I do these conferences is to meet my colleagues at other stores. That networking is valuable to me. And there's a lot of you already that, hey, we just talk on the phone, every few weeks, get ideas from each other, but we need to network with each other. We need to help each other. And I would love if you reached out to me and connected with me and we can just start talking about the job.
I love it, man. I appreciate you doing that. And I encourage you 100% to do that. Hey, for everybody out there watching and listening right now, we appreciate you. You're a total rock star because, hey, you watched the show. One of the biggest compliments that you can give myself or Jake as a content creator is to share the show. All right. If you got a friend or a manager or a colleague that needs to see some portion of today's conversation, there's literally no better compliment that you can give a content creator when you share the show. It means a lot to us. Hey, Jake, thanks so much for taking the time to chat with me. This has been a lot of fun, dude. Hey, for everybody out there, we appreciate you. You guys have an amazing day. There you go. Look at that one take wonder.
That went fast.
It does, doesn't it?
That went fast.
It's almost kind of like.
Thanks for tuning in to Shift into Profit, the podcast where we break down the people, processes, and technology that turn dealerships into profit machines. If today's conversation helped you, share the show and help another operator win. And we'll see you in the next episode.